The Phillies have won 5 straight. And this team, I'm starting to get scared. And I'm putting the target, not target, but I'm putting the focus directly on Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton, because those are the people who will decide what to do with the Phillies at the trade deadline. And this team continues to prove that they are specifically the kind of team that you invest in at the trade deadline, and I'm worried they won't. They continue to win games with not only without their best player, but coming into this year, Aaron Nola was probably the second most reliable pitcher they had, at least in terms of innings and quality starts, all that sort of stuff. They haven't had him either. They won't have him until the middle of August. They continue to win games now without Bryce Harper. They're 2 games out of first place. They have a core. All these reasons, by the way, continuing to say this is a team you invest in. They're 2 games out of first place. They have a core who is telling you, basically begging you, that a window that you thought was closing is at least open this year. The window is open this year, but we don't know how long that window is going to stay open. They have an aging core. Kyle Schwarber's a free agent. JT Realmuto's a free agent. Ranger Suarez is a free agent. And more than anything, they've earned it. They've earned it by winning playoff games. They've earned it by winning regular season games. They go through, peaks and valleys, but they're always there. And most importantly, their deficiencies are clear. Sometimes a team maybe doesn't have it, but you don't know quite what it is. But their deficiencies are clear, right? They need a bullpen arm and they need a bat in the middle of the lineup. They don't need the best bat. You know what I mean? They just need a solid bat and they need a solid bullpen piece, and they can win the World Series. And the final thing is that every time Mick Abel pitches well, and every time we go into a trade deadline, everybody starts to get all prospect huggy. Oh, I want to trade for somebody, but I can't trade this guy, or I can't trade that guy. And you need to trade something to get something. And all I heard when they brought up Mick Abel was that this was a showcase to trade him. And then he pitches well, which is what you want somebody to do when you're showcasing for a trade. And there was, we can't trade Mick Abel now. Well, what did you want him to do when he came up here? Right. He's doing exactly what you need him to do to trade him for somebody.
Could be changing minds, though.
But no.
I'm with Spike on this.
I'm not saying you have to trade. He's who you have to trade. Right. But you have to be willing to trade somebody valuable to get something valuable. Yeah. And this team I think continues to prove that they are worth a shot. I don't think with an addition, they're by far the best team in baseball or anything like that. I just look at the Dodgers and their entire starting rotation is on the injured list. And
Shohei's back though pitching, so you can give him the MVP because he's doing both now.
Because he pitched 1 inning. By the way, his ERA is 9. His ERA is 9 right now. I just think this team is good enough to invest in a serious way at the deadline. And Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton have to think that way going into the deadline. I'm not saying trade every prospect you have. I'm not saying, but they have to make the upgrades that the team needs at the deadline. They deserve it. I think this core deserves it.
No, I agree with you. If they've shown me anything, they've shown me that they're worth investing in. We had this, I don't know if it was last week or the week before that we had this discussion about whether or not you invest in this team or you just let it play out and basically saying just let it pillar out and we're going to start over when this core is gone. No, we want a chance. Listen, they won the World Series in 2008. That's what? My math 17 years. Yeah. 17 years, man. And we know they were back there in the World Series in 2022. And then we didn't take advantage of 2023. You mean to tell me you'd be willing to let this core die on a vine and not get back to the World Series? Because if we're regressing, we're going the other way.
At least in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's
sure.
what I mean,
yeah.
like in the playoffs.
Yep.
So I look at this. I look at where they are in the standings, and it's great that they're 2 games behind the Mets, but this is where you can get caught up in the standings thing and thinking you're really better than you really are. You're good right now, but you want a chance to beat the Mets, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Cubs, like these other teams, and I think you're going to need firepower. You're going to need firepower. You got the pitching, in my opinion. You got the ability to put Ranger in the bullpen. It's an option there, right? But to me, you need that bat in the middle of this lineup because I look at the offenses of those other teams, and, man, they score runs in bunches. I mean, you just take the Cubs are their run differential is 105 runs.
Yeah, what's ours, 30?
33, like this. It's 105 runs. The Dodgers, the Mets is 80. And 80. There's 80 run differential for those. That lets you know what their offense is doing when it's clicking. We need to do that. And Mick Abel becomes a tremendous asset. Jack, I don't know. You know these pitchers better than I do. He reaches his potential. What is he? 3, 2?
I think he's a 3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay. So us moving him isn't going to keep us from winning.
No.
It's a nice young arm for another team.
Sure.
That may be looking to restock their farm system, add some young talent, and we may be able to get a bat in this lineup that can help us come September and October.
Well, and truth be told, I'd rather trade Abel than Ranger because, I agree. Because my thing is that I'm going to take Ranger Suarez and trade him because a non-contender doesn't want to trade for Ranger.
A contender is trading for him.
Right. So you're trading Ranger Suarez. You're trading to another team who you may have to play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'd rather trade Mick Abel. This is why you build up your farm system, not just to have a future, but to be able to be in position to make your current team better. And this team is good, and they can be better. And even you look at the Dodgers last year. If the Dodgers don't make the trade for Tommy Edman, maybe they don't win the World Series. Like that was a role player that they got that ended up being the difference. So I look again. I don't think they need to trade for a superstar, but they do need a bat. They do need a bullpen piece, and they should be willing to trade prospects to do it. 215-592-9494. Do you think these Phillies are worth investing in?
What does Abel and Crawford get us?
That will get you a pretty damn solid player.
Good player right there.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to... See, the problem is, and I hear you, I just don't know who that guy is that's going to all of a sudden...
You don't have somebody you target.
That feels like too much for a Luis Robert type. But again, if you want to take a swing on a possible really big upside like Luis Robert, I agree. But I think that's too much. So those guys would get you a frontline bat, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a frontline bat is good, right? And I think, by the way, I think they need to do both. Like I don't.
You have to do both.
You have to do both. If you're going to do one, you have to do both of them. You need a bullpen because I don't. Again, you go and you invest and you put a bat in this lineup and you get into a position where your thin bullpen ends up costing you a series, and you live with the regret of not doing everything that they could do. And I just they've spent $300+ million on this payroll for multiple years in a row now. And these guys, I just for all of their flaws, and they're not a perfect team, but for all of their flaws, I think they've earned the organization saying you're good enough for us to believe in you. You know, for not to think about 3 years down the line or 4 years down the line. You can do both. Every good organization does both, and I think they need to do both. Jack, what do you think?
Yeah, so obviously I've been very cautious about wanting to give up the prospects. But the more and more, first off, I'm proud of the way they're playing right now. I'm proud of how they've rebounded after the Pirates series without Bryce. I think it shows good intestinal fortitude.
There you go.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah.
So I think that's been impressive. I like how they've played. And the thing that I'm starting to really get worked up about or think about is two things. And I don't know if you mentioned this, but there's probably going to be a lockout with baseball next year.
I did not mention it.
So in 2026, we might have a limited season. We might not have a season. We might have a shortened season. Who knows how next year looks? And on top of that, you're 2 years away from Zach Wheeler no longer being here. That's the one thing that it really hammered home when that story came out. We've heard about it. We knew about it. And I know Ike will say, we'll see. He can change his mind.
I still agree with you, though. I mean, you're still 2 years away, though. I agree with you.
You have 2 years of what should be a dominant frontline big game pitcher that if he doesn't win a title, you feel like you look back on this whole era as regret. Yeah. And I think that the one thing with the prospects is if you feel comfortable with where you are drafting now, and you feel like you are developing as a draft and develop type of organization, then you should be able to get more talent. You shouldn't be we can't give up these guys. We're never going to be able to get them again. So I am starting to go more and more into let's go. Let's push the chips in. and let's try to win a title.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And remember, like, this is not, and it's not just baseball now. This is all sports. This is all sports where, because you're seeing it in the NBA now with the Pacers getting to the finals, and football has been this way for the last 20 years or 25 years, where the best team doesn't necessarily win the title. And baseball, when they opened up the playoffs to more teams, became the ultimate, just get us in there.
Yep.
And like this starting staff, as long as this starting staff is whole, this starting staff gives you a chance to win a World Series. I don't care who you're facing. This starting staff, every single one of these pitchers can go 7 innings and can allow 2 or fewer runs. Every single one of them. So all you're asking to do is make sure you're not losing those games, and by not scoring more than 2 runs, right? Which is why you need the bat, and make sure you're not blowing the game. And I think the other thing, the final thing here is, like, if Kerkering can establish himself as a real bullpen piece, then all of a sudden, like, maybe your bullpen isn't quite as far away as we thought they were a month ago.
Or you don't have to trade real big prospects for a closer.
Right. You just have him be your closer.
If he can just take the closer's job and run with it, that'd be huge. Again, he's only 123 saves now behind Papelbon.
Isn't that crazy? That was his first save opportunity yesterday?
Well, so I don't think his first opportunity. I think it was his first conversion.
Okay.
And it was funny because I guess they talked to the players after the game. No one seemed to know. They're like, really? That feels insane.
Yeah.
He's been here for a good stretch now. But Kerkering definitely knew.
Yeah, you would have thought accidentally he would have had a save at some point, especially the way they operate their bullpen without, like, a specific closer.
What's your ideal, not to cut you
No,
off.
go ahead.
What's your ideal rotation in the playoffs?
Oh, as of right now, it's a good age-old debate.
Because we're going to have pitchers that may not be in the rotation. I'm just wondering, where do they get used at in the bullpen if we don't make a bullpen move?
What are Sanchez's home road splits?
This year?
Yeah.
Versus last year? I don't know.
Yeah. Because if it was the same as last year.
You could tell last year. This year, I think he's been good on both fronts.
Yeah, I think, for me, if Luzardo doesn't blow up the way that he does, he's my number 2.
Okay.
Now, if he is shaky here and there, then I think it's definitely Sanchez. But like, I think that's the decision.
You go with those 3?
Yeah.
Those 3?
Yeah. I go
So
those.
Sanchez actually had a 2.84 on the road and a 3.24 at home. So
Okay, all right. Well, then
normal.
I would trust Sanchez. I think I trust Sanchez.
Are we leaving Nola off the playoff roster?
Nah, he'll be there.
I just
He
got to
just won't
see
get
him.
the pitch.
Maybe we'll still have the stress fracture and we won't be able to. Rats. We can't get to you.
That's what I wanted. I just wanted to see where you was at.
Well, if they trade Abel.
You're in for leaving Nola off the roster, not pitching him. That's what you're
No,
saying.
it might have to be like, man, stress reaction fracture thing. We couldn't get you back. Oh, no, your ankle's hurt again?
By the way, if they trade Abel, they're going to need Nola.
Nola,
They're
right.
gonna need Nola.
They are.
Yeah.
But Abel in the bullpen.
All right. Okay.
Come on.
If he's here.
Come on.
If he's here. Prospect hugger number 1 in there. All right. 215.
Only Aiden.
Prospect hugger. No, Aiden.
Painter. Arun. Eduardo Taillon.
Yeah. All right. See?
Arun, I don't even know these guys.
You'll know him. You'll know him.
You'll know him in 2028. We're all alive, hopefully.
No, 2027.
Okay. All right. 215.
Hope we're still alive. That's 2 years away.
Again?
You never know, man.
You never know.
You're not even 50 yet.
You paying attention to the world today?
Exactly. People dropping like flies out there, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Age doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If I don't live in a world where I see Arun Escobar, Aiden Miller, and Eduardo Taillon in a Phillies uniform, I don't want to be living in it.
Arun Escobar.
Yeah, he's Ronald Acuna's cousin.
Is he a pitcher?
He's a second baseman that could win a Gold Glove one day.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
He's sick. I'm letting everyone know.
All right, 215-592-9494. Do the Phillies need to invest in this team at the trade deadline? Have they earned it? Because I believe they have earned it.